Greetings, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the official Master Force Coach podcast. I'm Shemsu-t, your guide to this transformative journey. At Master Force International, we believe that greatness resides within each and every one of us, waiting to be unleashed. Whether you're a seasoned leader, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply seeking to elevate your life, this podcast is your sanctuary for inspiration, motivation, and actionable insights. Join us every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern as we dive deep into the art and science of leadership, personal growth, and the power of the human spirit. Each week, we'll explore a new theme, from mastering the art of communication to cultivating resilience in times of adversity. Alongside special guests and Master Force coaches, trailblazers, visionaries, and thought leaders, we'll uncover the secrets to unlocking your spiritual, personal, and professional success. Thank you for being here, and remember, we are ascending.
Hello, cosmic weather lovers and love it is Mother Mecca 115 with the cosmic weather for the week of June 9th. We are flowing and June is the bomb. It is so much going on out there in this cosmic weather. So now, let's do a moon phase update. Remember, I told you I'm going to update and I'm going to talk about some things that happened. So on June 2nd, I was actually in Philadelphia. Went out with a girlfriend. So doing that waning crescent, it was a lot of healing going on. We talked about how, water was just healing. We went down to the pool. It was warm. It was nice. We went on a long ferry ride, was able to walk in Camden, enjoy beautiful sunshine. And, all of those things are healing, that the sun, just things like that. And we were able to rest, even though we were out and it was that new cycle and things like that. That was a natural flow of life to rejuvenate our energy. So just go back and do a reflection all the time to see how you got through or what you did to push through for these phases, okay? Because they do affect us differently. So the destiny card for today is June 9th. On June 9th, the destiny card is the 8 of diamonds. Anytime I hit diamonds, I automatically go to money, okay? It is just a beautiful, shiny diamond, okay? So if you know somebody whose birthday is today, do a reflection. I'm going to send a shout out to La Cherie's cousin, Gabe. I call him my best friend. Happy birthday. And so it is this person, when you think about these people, and this is the energy that flows, even though it may not be your birthday on today, very independent, domineering. And it's okay to be domineering, because sometimes you got to get things done. Like people say, you're a pushy, but you got to get things done. Exacting. Get it done to the exact point of how you want it. Okay. These people are willing to work. This energy is out here. So be willing to work on the things that you need to do, especially for yourself. I really feel like a deja vu just happened. Like I hear myself saying, be willing to work. Aware that you got to be aware that these people, if you know somebody's birthday is on June 9th, they are rulers and they position themselves and have positions of authority. And you can pick up off that energy on today as well. Okay, so don't sit around always pointing the finger and doing things like that. You stand on business too, as my students say. SOB, Miss Eve stands on business. I missed them already. So even though I'll start working with them on tomorrow. And 10 squares, oh my goodness, the 10 squares, they had already been in. So if you've been feeling these things, it ends though tomorrow on June 10th. So if you've been feeling these things, then you know that this is why. So Mars was in Leo, Jupiter was in Taurus and Pluto was in Aquarius. So that created right angles. They created right angles with each other, and that creates energetic friction. And then the transit will make you feel like a thunderstorm. Something even said doo 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 in my nose really quickly. So you have to, I'm going to explain those a little bit more to let you know what's going on. Okay, so that's why you'll be continued actually for 2 more slides. The precipitating a much needed release. So those 3 together is just boom, boom, boom. It's precipitating a much needed release. So Mars and Leo, that journey through Cancer help us move forward on our goals. So get out and be seen, because it's not over. Today is June 9th. If you're listening to this on the 9th, you still have time to actually get into this journey, right? Jupiter, it was in Taurus. It still is until tomorrow. It's going to bring some luck to the parts of our lives concerning stability and abundance. Didn't I tell you, whenever I hear the queen, the diamonds, I always think about, I'm a queen of diamonds. So that's why I pull from that. But we're doing 8 of diamonds today. But the reason why I always think about abundance with diamonds, because hey, that is how we truly have abundance. Okay, so flowing through that, rest when you need to, and know you will have enough. Sometimes we like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I haven't DoorDash, and it's money still just dropping into my account, because I know when I say that it comes to me easy, it comes to me fast, it comes to me joyfully, it will last. That's why. And then abundance is just not about money either. Are you able to go walk around? We walked while we were in Philly, we walked up those 72 steps. Okay. We walked around. We did, well, the 72 steps where Rocky went up and he was right. And we were able to do that because we have abundance over our life of energy, of physical ability. So don't look at it always as money, okay? But just know you got enough. Here's our last one. Pluto in Aquarius is the lightning strike, okay? It's the lightning strike. And what's that's going to do, it disrupts the whole operation, okay? It can illuminate our relationships. What's going on? Sometimes we need that. We need to know what's going on in our relationships. Okay. It can illuminate it. There are a lot of illusions. So make sure you take your time to view what is going on, because see, all these are illusionals because we get all these right angles going on. We get all these things with all these different planets going on. So you may be feeling one way and then you say, well, what is really going on? I need to take a step back and I need to really see what's going on, because it's a lot of illusions going on with these alignments. Okay. So also Mercury joins the sun June 11th in Gemini. June, it's just flowing. Everything's just flowing. So that creates a sextile, and it opens up new ideas, new ways to communicate with others. And I love this one. New ways to relate to ourselves. You got to know how to relate to yourself. Okay. You got to know what's going on. If you don't relate to your own self, I don't understand how you walking through this life. And you always want to say, oh, this person is doing this person is doing that. But truthfully, honey boo, it's you, because you haven't related to yourself. You don't know what's going on. And then the moon phase, so 6, 9, 24. You know, I like when I see numbers together, sometimes I have to do that. And I'm doing this because this 6/24 is my daughter's birthday, and I just love seeing it all the time. And so it's a waxing crescent. And the key words is growth, intention, and hope. You got to have hope out here, setting the stage for what you want to achieve in the next lunar cycle, okay? Because it's coming up. These cycles just keep flowing. And you're going to take the initial steps for the goals to set, that you set, okay, during the new moon, because the new moon was last week, right? And so now it's time to get in there. What did I do? What did I set for myself to do? And it's going to help it flow. Okay. And then we'll have a first quarter moon, June 14th. Like I said, it just keeps going, because even on the 15th, it turns into the wax and gibbous. But, you know, I was like, I'm going to let it flow. So the first quarter moon, June 14th, is the key word is action. So it signifies a time of action and decision making. As the moon grows, so does your ambitions and desires. So you got to make sure that you are doing things. June 14th, that's a very powerful day. And I don't know why I'm saying that I haven't gotten to it yet, but I know it's going to be a very powerful day. And so this is probably where I'm going to end up doing my reflection. I don't know. I feel a heavy aura on this day. And so remember, Geminis, and see, this is why I got all this going on. It's associated with the nose, the sinuses, the lungs, the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. And so sniff out interesting ideas, events, and celebrations, and follow your curiosities. While I was in Philly, that was my first time going to Philadelphia. When I got off the plane, I was so sneezy and everything. And so what I did was I started to drink some super antioxidant tea. So that helped a lot. And then I was very, very adventurous. I got my girlfriend to ride the public transportation down so we can do a big bus. It was very interesting. So I was curious about that. All of our ideas and events just flowed. We just worked well together, found new restaurants, found things, and it was an enjoyable time. You still have enough time. This is not even half of the month that you need to get out there. It keeps telling you to get out there. So if you are staying in, if you feel like you don't like the weather, get out there, get in your car or Uber or something and go to a building to do some things you do not need to be in. Okay. That is my message. Continue to drink your chaga tea. I drink chaga tea mostly every day because, again, it strengthens your immune system. It lowers your blood sugar, the cholesterol levels. It supports your digestive health, and it protects against cancer. There is cancer causing free radicals just while we're walking outside. So we have to protect ourselves, okay? Now, I was thinking about how I order my chaga tea. You can go, if you're in Chicago, go to Southtown. They normally have it, but I normally just order mine. I did a subscription on Amazon, so it just keeps coming to my home because I'm not gonna stop drinking it. Okay, so again, I am Mother Mecca 115, and how you can contact me to get your own personal reading is by my cell phone is the easiest way, 708-253-8795. Just text me. You can call me because I answer my phone. I'm not one of those people who say, I don't know this number. And so you can also contact me on Facebook at Mecca C Eves, as well as TikTok at Mother Mecca 115. And I want to tell you, peace, love. And guess what? You are individually loved because you're individually you. See you next week.
Greetings. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Master Force Coaches podcast. We have been doing a series we love to read, and each of our coaches have been asked to present to us their favorite books. So I believe this is going to be another one that I have to share with you. Why? Because I wrote this book back in 2001. Called Patiently Waiting for Nothing, of philosophical prose and affirmations. So I want to tell you how this book came to be, right? Oh, by the way, my name is Shemsu-t. I am the owner of Master Force and the founder of Master Force International Leadership Academy. Okay, so now this book was not intended to be a book. I was living in Chicago at the time, and my daughter was in high school, and I would drive her to school every morning. And when I would come back home, the direction that I was driving, I saw this house that said on their garage door, fully joyful, patiently waiting for nothing. And, it struck me the first time I read it, I just read it as a quote, right? But then when I kept seeing it on these days that I was dropping her off at school, I kept thinking, oh, well, I know what fully joyful is, but what does it mean to patiently wait for nothing? And then I started asking myself, well, what would have me not be patient about waiting? What would be in the way? What is it that had to change in order for me to be patient and to be content and to be still in life? So I sat down at my desk and I started writing out all of these different themes about what was in my way, right? And, by the end of that week, that first week, I had about 27 themes. And so I said, okay, I'm going to just dialogue on each one of them. And so I just began journaling about it, each one. I just started writing down about what that actually meant to me for each one. And so, for instance, like the first fear, what was I afraid of? Fear to me? And just really started unfolding for myself what was there. And after a while, I was like, wow, okay. So then I went to the next one. So then I said, and I had a I had a yellow legal pad that I was writing all of these on, right? So I'm writing and writing. And so when I got to the last one, I decided, I'm going to type these up, right? So I pulled out my computer and I started typing them up. And I was so moved by the language that was there for me. It was almost like my soul was teaching me something, like putting it in words that I can now see and use for myself, right? It wasn't like, oh, this is what I know. It was like, oh, this is what I need to learn, right? It was a very interesting experience. So I stayed up all night typing all of this out. And so the next day, I asked my daughter, no, my daughter and her boyfriend came in and they were like, well, what are you doing? And I said, I'm just writing, something. I said, could be a book. I don't know. And so they read it and they were just blown away. They thought, this is really good. And so I asked my daughter if she would edit it for me. She's always been my go-to organizer, right? So I said, can you edit this for me? And give me some feedback on what you think would be helpful. So she said, okay. And she took it to school with her. And she, brought it back and she had some little notes on there. That was a Monday. And she said, what would really be cool if this was somebody talking to someone and not just in essay form. She said it'd be more interesting if people were talking, right? I said, oh, okay. So that evening, I started thinking about who could be talking. And then I remember one of my favorite authors is Khalil Gibran. And he had written oh, what is his poem? But I loved Khalil Gibran, right? The Prophet. And I read The Prophet when I was probably 8 years old. And so I said, oh, well, who in our community would be the prophet? And so, I thought about it, this little meditation, and it came to me, an elderly homeless woman, someone who had given up worldly possessions just so that they could be in life. And I was like, whoa, so then I started creating Miss Helen. And then it's like, who is Miss Helen going to talk to? And then Bobby came to mind. So Bobby Mack and Miss Helen met each other. And they started talking, and Bobby was so distraught in her life. And she had all of this material wealth, but she was miserable. And here was Miss Helen who had nothing, and she was happy. And so Bobby wanted to learn from Miss Helen, how did you find this level of contentment? And so they began having regular dinner together. And Miss Helen shared with her life stories. And so that's what the actual essays became, Miss Helen sharing with Bobby Mack. And the book has so many other components to it. For instance, there are affirmations for each context or each chapter. There's also Adinka symbols for each chapter. And then there's also suggested reading. So when I was creating the size of this book and determining how many pages it would be, I didn't want it to be a lot because the people in my environment, or the people that I had, then I was still coaching folks, they weren't people that love to read cover to cover books, So I was like, how could I create a book where people would leave it in the bathroom and just read a chapter at a time. So I called it the perfect bathroom companion. They could read a chapter and actually get something out of that chapter, right? But then if they wanted to know more, I also had it suggested books for them that would give them the capacity to expand inside of that theme. So yeah, it's really an awesome work. I love it. And when I first published it, we printed 1,000 copies, and we literally sold all of them. The ones I didn't give away, because I think that first 100 I gave away may have been more than that, but I did give some to homeless people so that they could sell them or give them away to people on the street. But I wanted that to be part of the ministry of that book. Either they could read it, sell it, or give it away for themselves, right? So now I'm really excited because now, oh, this is the part I didn't tell. So after my daughter had did all of that, and I had added Miss Helen as the prophet, the next day was 9/11, and my whole life changed. Everything changed. My work at the time was to teach classes for Siemens Building Technology, and I was traveling all over the country. And because of what happened with 9/11, all travel was stopped. So my livelihood changed, everything changed. We ended up moving, all these different things happened. And, the book was just, out there in La La Land, someplace, until I met up with a friend of mine at a Roy Ayers concert. And she was telling me all about her new publishing company. And I'm sitting there listening to her, and she was sharing about the different things she was doing and how excited she was and how it had just launched, and how she had all of these people coming to her and really thinking that she should pay them to publish their book. And what was very cool is that she was just really delightful. I love to see people's enthusiasm for new things that they're doing. So when she finished telling me the story, I said to her, I said, I actually did write a book, and I'm trying to think where it is because so many things have happened since I finished it. She said, "You've completed it?" I said, "Yeah, I think it's complete." I said, I'm going to go and look for it and get it over to you. So, it took a couple of days, but my computer was in storage. So I went, got it, downloaded it, emailed it to her. And the very next day, she called me and she said, "I have not been able to sleep. I have read this whole book from cover to cover." She said, "I love it." She said, "I want to publish it." She said, "As a matter of fact, I want to show you how to publish it. And it was just Luminous Publishing. I mean, just out in Richton Park. She was just amazing to work with. She showed me so many different things to do. And then after she decided we were going to publish it, she started marketing it. And she called me and she said, "Look, Borders wants you to be a part of their neighborhood authors exhibit." And so she had me scheduled to be at Borders with my book. In I think it was within 30 days or something. And so one of my best friends, who had just recently lost her job, she started working with me every day to get the book ready for publishing. I mean, critiquing, and she would wake up every morning and go, "Well, what are we doing today? What are we working on today?" And it was really a wonderful process to have her in supporting me. And that Manetti was just the timing was so perfect. And she said to me, she said, "This is what I was supposed to do right now." And we had reading groups so we could go through it, and editing groups. It was really, really great. And I called my niece Loree and I said, hey, can you do a book cover design? And she was too excited. So the cover design that you see is from Larisha Weems, and we call her Loree, but Larisha Streeter Reams is what she goes by. But anyway, imagine all of that coming together during that time period. It made such a huge difference. And we were able to get the book cover design. We were able to get the drafts done and all of the finals done. And now we're doing our 20-year anniversary. So you can look for the 20 years because we have expanded it. We've added poetry, never been published poetry by myself. And we've added more Ndinka symbols, and we've added more titles or themes within the book. So thank you for listening. And we're excited. We're getting to the end of this series. We hope you've enjoyed it. But, we really just want to encourage you to use knowledge as a form of wealth in your life, because once you know something and once you get it for yourself, no one can take it from you. All right. So we'll see you next time on the Master Force Coaches podcast. Go read a book. Bye-bye.